Good morning. We're just going to wait a few minutes until everyone's in, which it looks like everyone is. Okay, great. Good morning. I'm Hearing Officer Megan Nyes with the Administrative Hearings Office of the State Water Resources Control Board. This is a pre-hearing conference for the pending application of the City of Stockton application 3531B for a permit to appropriate water from the San Joaquin River originating from wastewater discharges by the city. This pre-hearing conference is being held in accordance with the notice of public hearing and the pre-hearing conference dated August 16th, 2021. As you all know, this pre-hearing conference is being conducted by Zoom web conference, and it's also being broadcast live on the AHO YouTube channel. Both the audio and video recording are being recorded, and we will post files of this recording along with the Zoom generated transcript to the Water Board's FTP site. And as you all know as well, the YouTube recording will also be available on the AHO YouTube webpage. You all have our email, but if at any time you're experiencing any technical difficulties trying to communicate with us, please send an email to the AHO at adminhearingoffice@waterboards.ca.gov, and our wonderful AHO staff will be monitoring that inbox. Assisting me today are several of these staff members from the AHO: Nicole Mullen, Amy Blanc, Skylar Anderson, and Kyle Woldridge. So let's move on to appearances. I see some of you on camera, some of you not on camera. So if you're able to go on camera, that really helps me just sort of connect and all of us to kind of feel like we're in person. But I also understand if it's Friday, if it's not feasible today. So I'm going to identify each of the entities that has filed NOIs for the hearing. And as I do, please go ahead and turn your camera on if you're able, go off mute and state your name. And then please keep yourself muted except when you're speaking. So I'll start with the City of Stockton.
Good morning, Aaron Ferguson from the City of Stockton, and I'm here with Kelly Tabor as well from our office.
Good morning.
Good morning.
San Luis and Delta Mendota Water Authority.
Good morning. This is Carissa Beecham for San Luis Delta Mendota Water Authority.
Good morning. And Department of Water Resources.
Good morning, Eric Soderlin on behalf of the Department of Water Resources.
Good morning. And let's see, Mr. Cody, I see that you are here. Would you like to go off? I don't have an NOI from you, but would you like to go off mute and introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, Doug Cody, representing Contra Costa Water District. I believe we had submitted an NOI, but only for a policy statement at this time.
Okay, thank you. We will check that we have that. Thank you for that.
We will re-forward that if there's a problem finding that.
Okay. We will check on that and just try to double check that we've got it. Okay, and I don't see, Mr. Rubin, would you like to go off mute and introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. I apologize for being late. I clicked on the wrong link for the Zoom meeting, but I am John Rubin, Assistant General Manager, General Counsel for Westlands Water District.
Good morning. And did you file an NOI?
We did, I believe, file one.
Okay, we'll check on that one as well. Did that indicate that you were just planning to present a policy statement or have a more substantive involvement?
The intent for Westlands is to participate in cross-examination as necessary, but we do not intend to present a case in chief.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I don't see anyone else on the call, and we've sorted out the policy statements. I did want to note for those parties who are planning to present any exhibits that the AHO has changed its procedures slightly for uploading documents. So this information was in the hearing notice on August 16th. So take a look at pages 18 to 20, because instead of using the same login and password both to upload and download documents, you'll now receive a personalized password to upload documents, and you can still use the same password that you've been using to download documents, but just wanted to make that clarification. So take a look at pages 18 to 20 of the hearing notice if you haven't already. Okay, so going back to our agenda items, so the hearing schedule is on page 10 of the hearing notice. Exhibits are due October 8th, and the hearing is scheduled to begin November 9th. Do any of the parties have conflicts with any of these dates? I'm assuming no, because I didn't receive any policy statements indicating as such, but does anyone have any issues with beginning the hearing on November 9th? Mr. Ferguson?
No, we do not.
Okay. And I don't see anyone else going off of mute. Okay, fantastic. So I wanted to ask about rebuttal evidence. We've got a couple of choices for that. We can either proceed with the City of Stockton's witnesses, and then I can ask if any other party wishes to present rebuttal evidence, and we can just handle it then on November 9th, kind of on the fly, or we can set a date for submission of written rebuttal testimony that would be submitted about 2 weeks after the October 8th deadline. So does anyone have a preference for how to handle this? I'm going to start with Ms. Beecham. I don't know if you're even thinking of offering rebuttal testimony, you'd like to have that option open, but do you have a preference about how we might handle that?
We do not have a preference at this time.
Okay. Mr. Soderlund, do you have a preference?
No preference.
Okay. Mr. Rubin, do you have a preference about how we might handle rebuttal, or do you want me to just choose?
Yeah, I do not have a preference.
Okay. I think it probably makes the most sense to just set a deadline for submission of written rebuttal testimony. So I'm going to prepare a pre-hearing conference order that I'll issue probably early next week. So I'll put this in with the deadline if any party wishes to submit rebuttal. It'll be due 2 weeks after October 8th. Okay, so Mr. Cody, you indicated that you are prepared, you would like to present a policy statement. So the time limit for a policy statement is going to be 5 minutes. I wanted to ask if that seemed reasonable to you, or if you had any comments about that.
No, that's perfectly reasonable. We are still under the consideration of whether to present that, but 5 minutes will be fine regardless.
Okay, and sorry, you cut out. You're still under consideration about, what was that?
About whether we will present a verbal policy statement or just a written policy statement.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, opening statements, 5 minutes. Stockton has requested 10 minutes for each of its 2 witnesses in the NOI. That seems very reasonable, so we'll allow that time for the summary of the written testimony for Stockton's witnesses. And then I do want to ask the parties that intend to cross-examine these 2 witnesses, how much time they think they would need. So Ms. Beecham, I'll start with you. I know it's sort of hard to tell and you don't really know, but I would just want to be fair to everyone, and I do want to set some time limits for cross-examination. So do you have a thought?
No, I would think probably at least just a commensurate time for the.
Right. Okay. Okay, and then Mr. Soderlund, does the department intend to do any cross-examination, or?
It's as necessary.
Yeah.
And if we do so, I would assume it'd be very focused and short.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and then Mr. Rubin, you did indicate that you may be conducting some cross-examination.
Yeah, Westland's position is very similar to the position that Mr. Soderlund just described for the Department of Water Resources. At this point, we indicated an intent to cross-examine to preserve our ability to do that. But we have nothing planned at this point, and suspect that if we do cross-examine, it will be very short.
Okay, fair enough. And then I wanted to switch back to the City of Stockton. Do you have a recommendation about whether these witnesses should be cross-examined as a panel? I mean, there's only 2, so it really doesn't matter a whole lot, but just for kind of my own planning purposes, do you think your 2 witnesses should be cross-examined together, or should we conduct separate cross-examination of each witness sort of sequentially?
I think putting them on as a panel is just fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then as for the parties that plan to conduct cross-examination, do you want me to provide an order for conducting that cross-examination, or do you want to work it out amongst yourselves, or is there anything that I should include in the pre-hearing conference order about the order of cross-examination that might be helpful? Okay, I'm not hearing any comments. That is fine. I will either make a decision or just let you work it out amongst yourselves, and we'll just work it out the day of the hearing. Okay, well, we're coming to my very last sort of topic here. So we will not have closing arguments. We're going to have closing briefs. So just as a heads up, those will be due 2 weeks after the close of the hearing. So that's probably about November 23rd. The briefs should answer the questions in the hearing notice on pages 7 and 8. There will be a page limit for the briefs, probably 10 pages, but I will put this in, I put more specific information in the pre-hearing conference order, which I will send out next week. And then it will also be in the post-hearing order that I will send out, November 12th or something like that, because I know there's the Veterans Day holiday in there. So this will be written out a couple of times, what we are expecting for the closing briefs. But hopefully you can start thinking about those now and start working on those now. So those are all of my agenda topics today. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add or any further questions we can address today? Okay, hearing none, I'm just going to check. Okay, just a quick note here. Okay, it looks like my staff is telling me in terms of what we've kind of circling back to what we talked about at the beginning of this conference. So we did receive an NOI from Contra Costa Water Agency, a status conference statement from Westlands Water District, and a status conference statement from Westlands Water District, which I think is what the parties had indicated. So if we should be receiving something else, oh, and we received an NOI from Westlands as well. So if we should be receiving anything else, please send it over now or by the end of the day today. But that looks like what my staff is telling me that we have. Okay, I think that's everything. If there's no other questions, thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you all November 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks again.